First County.
Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Wonderful. I'm afraid to another one, but this got the first one.
My name is Ron McCray, and we're going to continue to open up, and Terry Benjamin is co-host here. So let's get started. Welcome to the Poets Café. It is where artists come to life. The spoken word brings forth the inner creation of hidden treasures, expressing tones of lyrics filled within the soul. A vibration that rings stories untold. This platform represents artists of all backgrounds, be it writers, singers, spoken words, artistic expression of painting, literature, poetry, and a journey through life. Mystery seeks to bring new ideas and opportunities through the mind at all levels. Wherefore my time leaving tomorrow on the wings of yesterday, where birds fly higher than the mystery of dreams never knew. Why do mellow sounds ring silently without ever leaving memories of my lonely blues? We walk by the call of nature and sing in harmony, pray for the love of the skies, and dance with the stars like a feminine ballerina gazing across the stage in her soft-toed ballerina shoes. Welcome to the Artists of Poetry Cafe show, Poetically Speaking. As delighted as we are, we can't wait to engulf a new wave of presenting this platform to our audience. So, sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Now, let's get started. As we get started, and as you see, Terry Benjamin had to step away for a moment, but I'd like to go ahead and continue to thank you for coming together in this moment, because this month is Poetry Month. You know, so I'm quite sure everybody out here has a piece of poetry, which you do. Technically, if you think about it, when you think about yourself, because everybody has a story of some sort, whether you're a writer or painter, whatever case may be. So as we continue to move forward, I want to introduce our MC, pretty much one of the poets, an author at this time, Mackenzy.
Mackenzy the poet, all right.
Hello everyone, my name is Mackenzy the Poet, and if you want to know the story of how I got the Mackenzy the Poet, you should watch one of the live that I did with these guys on March 23rd. What was the name of the show again? KBS?
Yeah, KBS, one.
Poetry.
BKS1.
BKS1 Poetry.
Radio TV.
Poetry Speaking?
Right.
Yeah. Just want to give you a shout out.
You so kind.
I've performed many poetry before. I'm just gonna give you guys a little taste of what my poems are like, and I'm just gonna give you two for now, and we'll see where it goes from here. The first one is called God, Can You Hear Me? God, can you hear me? Oh God Almighty, listen to my cry for your presence. God, are you near, far, at a distance, or up there? Oh my Lord, it seems that you have abandoned your child. Oh Lord, help me with my problem in this life. It seems like I cannot stand on my own anymore. It seems like I want to die. It seems like all hope is lost. It seems like I can't stand on my own. Oh, help me, because I'm drowning. Help me take my hand from the pool of water that I'm sinking in. Just like you took Peter's hand when you're walking on water. Help me, Lord. Don't forsake me. Amen. Thank you. The other one that I have, it's about like how teenagers are facing things in this life today. So I have various poems, and whatever like people are going through, or whatever struggles I went through, what I learned, and what I might be going through, or my experiences, or my culture, or about God, or about the women that I had issues with, and stuff happened. It's the variety of poetry, and I've written like 4 books before already. So the first one is called The Legacy of My Poems, The Son of a King. That's the first one. The second one's called My Psalms. The third one is called A Beautiful Life Well Lived. And the fourth one is called Friends with Benefits. The poem that I'm going to read for you guys next, it's called, before I read the poem, all my work can be found at MackenzyThePoet.com, and that's Mackenzy the Poet is my stage name, and Mackenzy is spelled M-A-C-K-N-Z-Y, and MackenzyThePoet.com, and you'll find all my social media and everything. And the next poem I'm going to perform is called Teenage Tribulation. It's about teenagers. One has heard that teenagers today has it easy compared to a blast in the past. I disagree and I beg to differ. And I say it is the complete opposite. We do have a better way to live. Sure, technology has made it easier for us to live, but teenagers has it harder today. What do I mean by that? Well, teenagers today, they face more challenges than any other time. For example, many teenagers are battling the addiction of drugs, facing jail time, fighting early teen pregnancy, getting shot from gun violence, suffering from a disease called AIDS, being traumatized from rape incidents, dropping out of high school, not pursuing a further education, freaking out over a career choice. Now you know teenagers back then were not presented with these kind of tribulations, as much as not stuff. Yes, the world is more modernized, but no, it has not decreased life's sorrows. Better yet, it has not made problems disappear like it was in the Garden of Eden. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother Mackenzy the Poet. You know, it's so funny that when I first met him, that wasn't his name. It was something else. But again, thank you for coming out tonight. And also, like, what I want you to understand is this, what we're doing here is really sort of offshoot of what we do on YouTube. Because we have a program called Poetic Speaking. Yeah, this one is right. And we tape live on Thursday from 6 to 7 and Sunday from 5 to 6. Poetic Speaking is here on YouTube like sort of forever. But I mention that because one of the things that I just want you to understand is that we are at a time where anybody could have a YouTube show, you know, and I don't know if that's good or bad. But I think one thing good about it is that people get a chance to really express themselves in the way they want to be expressed. And this whole concept really developed during the COVID when we were locked down. I was thinking, you know, had a lot of time to listen to other podcasts and reflect on what I wanted to do. And I know I wanted to do a podcast, and then I wanted to do a TV show. And now we have a podcast TV show on YouTube. And so what I'm saying to you is that these things happen because we manifest these things, you know. And one of the things that I want us to think about right now, I want you to think about what you have inside you that you want to come out, that you want to express. Because, you know, one of the things I learned from COVID is that life is what you make it. I'm going to get very intense right now because I'm facing a challenge. You know, two of my favorite people are really at the end of this existence, you know. And one of the things that I found out is that whether you be 20, 30, 40, or 50, you really have to find something within you that sort of motivates you. I'm 74 years old. I don't believe it. And the reason I don't believe it because, man, I'm ready to go at it again. You know, I thought I'd be sitting on a rocking chair, you know, and just rocking and just saying, you know what, my life is over, give it to the kids, let them do it. I have grandchildren, let the grandchildren do it and that kind of stuff. But one thing I found out is that if you have dreams, man, your dreams never die. And if you are like myself, you're curious about the new technology. We tried to get some things working today, it didn't work, but that's all right, you know. but we have that available to us, you know. And what I want to do is, you know, since we have a small group here, and you'd probably say, oh, no, I didn't know he was going to make us do this, but I want to get you involved, okay? And what I want to do is I want you to tell me, what is your favorite word? You know, and I'll help you out, you know. What is your favorite word, you know, a word when you say it, when you think it, it makes you really feel good, you know? And my favorite word right now is peace. P-E-A-C-E, peace, okay? And I break it down to the peace for passion. What is your passion? What is the thing that you just got to do? When I was 9 years old, I turned to my mother and I said, Mom, I want to be a writer. She said, go ahead, baby. And she didn't ask me how I'm going to make a living or anything like that there. She said, you know, I like to read books, and so why can't I be a writer? And then that became my passion. And I never thought I would go to college because I was too poor. And I got an opportunity to go to college, and I got into that, man, and I was just so excited, you know, because I was going to meet all these heavy dudes, but I never thought I'd be a teacher, because when I was growing up, I thought that the teachers lived at the school. No, don't laugh, okay? Like, when you go to school, they're there, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go home, they're there, right? You know, and I never see them like among real people. So I figured I don't want to be a teacher because I don't want to live at the school, you know. But then, you know, I go to excellence, you know. And my thing is, if you're going to do anything, do it right, you know, do the best that you can, you know. And then I met teachers who inspired me to try my best, you know. And I was in high school, it's all boys high school, man. And I had a revelation. And some of you can relate to this, man. I thought that white people were smarter than black people. Yeah, I did. You know why I thought that? Because when the teacher would ask the question, the white kids would raise their hand and answer the question. I said, man, those white kids are so smart. I'll never be that smart, you know. And then Vanessa went home one day. I guess I was bored, because I would take my books home. I'd take them home and bring them back to school. I put nice covers on them. And because I was poor, I couldn't really afford the nice covers, so I had the paper bag covers. You know, get the paper bag. You don't know anything about that. You know, I make the paper bag covers, and I put it on the book and whatnot. And I'm walking home and walking. And then one night, I guess I was bored, and I opened up the book, and lo and behold, the answers were in the book. Who knew? You ever see those cartoons with a light bulb on the cartoon? Yeah. So I had a light bulb moment. And I said, man, wow, you know. And so I read the book, you know, and I came to class the next day. I was so happy with myself. And the teacher asked a question, and I knew it because I read, you know, and I raised my hand, and he ignored me. I said, whoa, wait a minute. Some racism going on in here, you know? A black boy want to learn, and you not give him a chance, you know? And another question, I said, oh, no, this is getting me down. You know? I said, you know, he said, Terry, I'm not going to ask you a question because, you know, you're trying to be community. I said, no, ask me a question. Ask me the question, I give the right answer. And my friends are looking at me. I said, man, what you doing, man? You messing us up back here, you know? And then I got real excited, and I moved a little further up to the board. And the teacher asked another question. I was able to ask that question. I said, oh, man, I'm on a roll or whatnot, you know? I lost a lot of friends because they didn't want to be with a nerd. I was a nerd. And it was bad enough that I wore glasses and I was skinny, and now I'm a nerd. Oh,
what's wrong with being a nerd?
Yeah, well, and I tell you, in 1968, it was a lot. In all-boys school, man, come on now. You can't be a nerd. But I found out that if I answered the question and if I was good and asked the questions, you know, I would feel good, you know. And then we have attitude. Attitude. I always say you can't always choose what happened to you, but you can choose your attitude. If I went to the doctor, he said, Mr. Benjamin, you only have a couple of years to live or months or whatnot. I wouldn't like it, but my attitude would be like, I'm gonna live as long as I can. I'm gonna live until the wheels fall off, you know. But that's the attitude, you know. And then see creativity, you know. Maya Angelou said you can't run out of creativity. The more you have, the more that you get, you know. And I believe that, you know. And the last thing is E for expectations. man, man, at my age, I still got things to look forward to, man. There's books that I want to read that I haven't read. There's people I want to meet that I haven't met. And so I have grandchildren. You know, we're actually grooming to be scholar athletes, my girl and my boy, you know. And again, it's no accident, you know, it's by design what we're trying to do, you know, because I believe, man, that, you know, we control our lives and we control what we want to be in our lives. But I think it comes with vocabulary, you know, because as I examine that word peace, it really helped me. So I don't want you to break it down there. I just want you to tell me what is your word and why, okay? We got some time. Let me start with you, Vanessa, of course. What's your word?
My word is joy.
Okay.
And it's not anything that I look for, not anything that I go to. I look for the joy in everything that I do.
Beautiful. All right, give her a hand. Okay, go to you.
I'm gonna say God.
God,
Because,
okay.
he's my support, my everything, and, you know, I'm always looking towards him and to him, to get through.
Love that. Give her a hand. That's Lisa. We're going to hear some poetry from Lisa. Yes, young lady?
Patience.
Patience. Oh. You don't have no patience. What do you do with patience? Please, why patience?
The reason patience is important to me because with patience you won't be too quick to judge, you won't be too quick to respond, and then regret what you may say.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, my young man right there. What's your name? What's your word?
I'm Matt. I'm going to go with perseverance.
Perseverance. Okay.
It's important. Everything you do, whether it's for work, whether it's for fun, I mean, you got to keep at it to make it what you want to make it, right? So that's where all the success comes from in any aspect.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Mackenzy, should we be clapping or should we be snapping our fingers?
No, I can't clap because I'm going to the camera.
Oh, okay. No, I want to probably find the proper protocol, you know. Young lady, what's your word? What's your name?
My name's Kim. My word's inspire.
Oh, okay.
I'm a teacher, so I like to inspire my students.
You know, I love that word because, you know, when you say inspired, you know, it's inspired for me is inspiration. I got that from Dr. Wayne Dyer. You know, he said to inspire is to be in spirit. Young lady back there, what's your name and what's your word?
I would say contentment. If I have a form of contentment within myself,
Look at you.
that means that I have incorporated a sense of peace within me, a sense of godliness, a sense of spiritual, inspirational. If once I have contentment, I have I can wrap myself up, not only into myself, but I can wrap myself up in my entire environment. And my name is Ali Marshall Rico.
Oh, look out. Hey, sir, what's your name? What's your word? What's your favorite word?
My name is Jason, and right now, my favorite word is sleep.
Why is that, brother?
I'm a truck driver, but I have to sacrifice some sleep time to make sure my wife gets a full love.
Yes. I love it. And your wife, what's your favorite word? And you can say husband.
My favorite word is faith.
Oh, okay.
I have to have faith to go forward in the world. And I hope everybody else has faith too.
Okay, thank you.
What's your word?
My favorite person now is butterfly.
Butterfly.
Yeah, it's like the transformation. It wasn't just a little thing, and it's so beautiful. It's flying now. It's freedom.
Okay.
My name is Nicole. My favorite word right now is family.
That was going to be my because we're sisters. We kind of share.
So
has a different reason.
Maybe.
But without my family, I wouldn't be able, specifically my sister, I wouldn't be able to get through what I've been through.
But, very similar. For me, my word was also family, but I also believe it's not only about the people that was born to your family, but the people that you meet along the way and that become family.
Yeah.
And the village that you create throughout your life is just so important, and it shapes how your life is. It's beautiful and important.
All right, all right.
Eric, yeah. I come from a background of being active with environmental causes, so I would have to say green. It's the colors of trees, it's the color of life. Look out the window there, you see light green, the things coming back after winter, renewal.
Yes.
I think of the color of renewal and redemption being green. And green is also the color that we need more of, and we're losing it, because more and more we have gray of concrete and black of asphalt, and we have to preserve as much green as possible.
And when we do our program, we start, giving you, so the agenda, the agenda is going to be really, be here now. Don't worry about yesterday, don't worry about tomorrow. Let's just be here right now, okay? And because we're here right now, we're going to share some things with you. Another aspect of the program that we do is we call it Music is Lit. Music is literature. And I started this as a joke, really, and it became, a feature that people look forward to. And basically, what happened when I was a young man, I used to go to the library. And not to read books, but all the pretty girls were at the library. And I was just, I gotta be honest, and I would just want to hang out with them, And this one girl I really liked a lot, man, And she said, Terry, I love poetry. And I said, what? I love poetry too. And she said, what poets? I said, well, I don't get into that. I just like to recite poetry. And she said, recite some poetry. I said, I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open the door, I get it myself. Can you hear me? I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door, I get it myself. And she said, Terry, what is that? James Brown. She said, James Brown. She said, I dance to James Brown. I don't see James Brown in the poem. Well, it rhymes, yeah, but I don't know about that. Well, I said, well, let me hit you with another one. And then I got into the temptation, ball of confusion. I tore it up, man, And she said, Jerry, you don't like poetry. Yeah, I do like poetry. I do like poetry. But see, the thing is, that then I got slick on it, But the thing is, in my understanding of the poetry in retrospect, and in other words, there is poetry in our music, in our R&B music. And she sort of tried to consider that. Well, yeah, because, these singers are sort of poets, and because they're poets, they tell a story, there's a narrative, and then you have the rhythm, right, and you have the blues. And I said to her that I thought that was poetry. And then I got real crazy because I got older, and I started teaching, and I was a college administrator for many years, and then I got into teaching. And then they gave me a class, English, it was an English literature class, And I come into the class, I don't know what I'm doing. I come in there and it's me and 30 white kids. I said, well, so I said, why don't you bring in your favorite songs and we're reading as poetry. And so we really bounded, with me and those students because we had that in common. We all love music, and then they had the lyrics, And so what happened, then I started studying rap music, and I saw rap music as poetry, and I was able to tour with that particular program. And today, we have a Poetry Speaking, and we have a segment called Music is Lit. And so what I do is there And really, I also write a music blog. I write a daily blog called Soul Music Prescription, album by album, song by song. And what I do is I take an album and I just write an essay about each one of the singles in the album. And I've been doing this since the pandemic, so I've been doing it for like the past 5 years. And the thing is, I've taken it upon myself to really sort of preserve the music of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, because that was my music, and I realized, unfortunately, when I'm gone, maybe people won't be listening to it. But the thing is, I want to preserve that, and I got this book here, and I brought this book in 1971, and this book cost $1, and it's falling apart now because I've had it for some time. But it inspired me to really go and do this kind of work. And one thing I want to, before I get into this, I want to let you know that, and this is something that I really want you to take, and you can write this down if you want. Again, what I found, I retired at 70, and then I've been busy ever since then with reading and writing and that kind of stuff. But I found out that in my life I had jobs, I had different jobs. But what I'm doing now is my work. This is my work. And I'm excited about it, and I do it, and I get other people involved in it, because what we try to do, and poetically speaking, we're trying to develop a community of people who want to expand themselves, who want to be better than they are, You're late, but you come on in. But, I just want you to understand that we're trying to develop this community, and the heart of the community is education. And I want to share this. Now, this is a song from the 60s, and it's called A Rainy Night in Georgia, recorded by Brooke Benton. And Google him. But I just want to read this. This is a song, but I consider it a poem because it tells a story. And it says here, this is A Rainy Night in Georgia by Brooke Benton. Hovering by my suitcase, trying to find a warm place to spend the night. Heavy rain falling, seems I hear your voice calling, it's all right. A rainy night in Georgia. A rainy night in Georgia. It seems like it's raining all over the world. I feel like it's raining all over the world. Neon signs are flashing, taxi cabs and buses passing through the night. A distant moaning of the train seems to play a sad refrain to the night. A rainy night in Georgia, such a rainy night in Georgia. Lord, I believe it's raining all over the world. I feel like it's raining all over the world. How many times I've wondered, it still comes out the same. No matter how you look at it or how you think of it, it's life, and you got to play the game. I find me a place in a boxcar, so I take my guitar to pass some time. Late at night, when it's hard to rest, I hold your picture to my chest, and I feel fine. I feel fine. But it's a rainy night in Georgia. Baby, it's a rainy night in Georgia. I feel like it's raining all over the world. Kind of lonely night, you're talking about a rainy, raining all over the world. It's by a gentleman named Tony Joe Scott, and it's performed by Brooke Benton. So as you go into the music, you're going to find the poetry in your music, And what I want to do now, we have some poets in the house. So I'm going to ask these poets to come up and share their poetry with us. And the thing is, and the thing that I love about what you're doing tonight, sometimes it's kind of hard to come up there and get in front of people that you don't know. I've taught for years, but I understand that there's this little fear. And so what I like to do is I have a list of people. I know 2 of them are here, so we're going to find the list here. So I'd like to call up Lisa Thomas. Lisa, would you come up and share?
Thank you. I call this poem Likened Unto Water, and lately my poetry has been Christian-based. So, there I go. Likened unto water in 3 forms, solid, liquid, gas, chemically all H2O. One formed an icy solid, one fluid, container-shaped, while yet the other floats through air with barely any weight. likened unto water, in three forms you see, Father, Son, and Spirit, trinitastically all G-O-D. One formed all, the solid Father. One fluid, man shape he bared, while yet the other floats into souls that barely sense him there. Likened unto water, in three forms they be, Father, Son, and Spirit, blessed Holy Trinity. With one unrivaled contrast that water can achieve, the Trinity exists in unison, regardless of degrees.
Oh.
Thank
Can you give us another one? 'Cause,
you. Yeah.
I mean, you gave us a little taste now. Now we want an encore.
Sure,
Poetry
long.
Rhymes, my God.
What did you
What a
say?
concept, right?
What did you say?
There's a poetry that rhymes. What a concept.
I'm kind of a traditionalist like that, I guess. Long or short?
Hey, you got the time. Serenade us here.
All right, this one's a little lengthier. I call this one the smallest speck. In times of war and strife, when darkness seems supreme, remember that the greatest love still masters all that be. For at times such as these, we're most challenged in our faith, that smallest speck of mustard seed, the task to hold so great. Between thy thumb and finger, or cradled in thy palm, thy hand boasts not too many tasks, else faith be quickly gone. By faith takes true commitment of body, soul, and mind, of body, mind, and soul, lasting longer than time fears to tell, costing more than debt can owe. And yet, we go on by faith and hope on by faith. Believe where faith is there. When we use and exercise our faith, we walk out a living prayer that cultivates a miracle where faith seed takes a hold, becoming rooted in our spirit where its true power can unfold. For that smallest speck of mustard seed can now move the universe. Empowered by the words we speak, God's principle goes to work. So speak peace and speak healing. Do encourage and show love. Then watch the hand of God extend from heaven up above to conquer the unconquerable, to minimize the immense. That smallest speck of mustard seed can defeat Goliath's strength. For faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things unseen, starting as that awfully smallest speck, now moving mountains and building dreams.
Right.
Thank you.
That's what I call an encore, I love it.
Thank you.
But the thing that I just want to add to that, Lisa, thank you so much, because again, you're showing your faith, you're showing your passion. And one of the things people have to understand, when we talk about poetry, sometimes we don't know where it comes from. I've written things, and Ron, we were talking about before, you write something, you put it away, you look at it again and say, did I write this? Especially if it's good. Did I do this? But the thing is that, you have to be able to open yourself up, open up yourself to inspiration, And so we want to move right along with our poets in the house tonight. And this, Eric Hauser.
Thank you. This poem kind of flows into what this lady just read about and your experience in COVID. I wrote this to honor the nurses of Rahway Hospital, and I sent it to the lady who was in charge of the nursing department. And she made sure that it got around. And I was very impressed, of course, by the way nurses were exposing themselves to such risk to fatally ill people at this time.
Thank you.
I asked my nurse to dance for me. Her shift that night had just begun. I lay awake in muted fear, feeling that I was slipping away. She came to my room, I sensed her near. She greeted me with caring eyes like morning suns. She adjusted her mask and quickly took my vital signs. I heard her sigh. She stroked my hand with a gentle look. This cheered me up and I managed to smile. "You'll be okay," she said serenely. But we both knew, deep down inside. I had an overwhelming urge to acknowledge her for her tenderness. I said, "When I am out of here," and I gasped for air with heaving pants, "we'll go out for a couple of beers and then we'll dance." "Oh yes, we will," she softly replied. She raised her arms and tossed her head, snapping her fingers with both her hands. She rolled her shoulders, turned left and right. I burst out laughing, but this led to a coughing fit, which I regret. The mirth in her eyes gave way to fright. She stopped and, bending over me, made sure I was fine. I apologized for having scared her. She did not mind. She caressed my forehead and said goodnight. My breaths are coming shorter now. I know my days on earth will end. I promise in my final hours that if I become an angel soon and find myself blessed with celestial powers, I will seek her out from up above. And if on high it is allowed, I make a solemn vow to extend from heaven a protective hand, to shield my nurse and those she loves, to guide them unseen away from harm. I hope that she'll perceive somehow she's being thanked for that lonely night, for that joyful moment, however brief, when happiness subsumed my grief.
Mr. Irv, do you have another poem you want to share with us?
Run home and get one.
No, don't do that. Okay, but any other poets in the house? Please. What's your name? Okay, you want to come up? Because they gave me a list, but I don't think that's comprehensive. But again, Eric, thank you. I mean, that story is very touching because we can relate to that,
I'm gonna read.
I thought you was gonna dance because you like.
No, I'm gonna read a couple poems.
Is that from your book or you?
Yeah, these are from my book. One of my books is called Fire in My Bones. The other one is called Commander-in-Chief, the 44th President, and Scatter Changes. And I think I'm going to read, I like to sort of like observe my audience.
Look at these beautiful people.
They are very, very beautiful.
They are.
And I'm looking at the females, but after I finish reading this about the females, I'm going to read a brief section about the male.
Look at
I'm looking forward to it. But you're just going to have to catch what I'm saying. And I write on 3 levels. On a personal level, on an interaction level, and an observation level.
Yes.
This first poem is called Breathing. Help me breathe, sister. I need to breathe. The days are long and the nights are short. The music is low and the voices are high on the road. My senses are dangling on rope edge. Help me breathe, sister. I need to breathe. Take my hand to sustain me. The sand is too grainy. The blissful sun merciless. Quicksand has stiffened this body to a pill killer. Trying has sunk to a dying cry. Help me breathe, sister. I need to breathe. Take this day and make me tomorrow. Let your energy become mine. Forces cannot be met without your strength. Your endurance will sustain my survival. Help me breathe, sister. I need to breathe. This frail body need not be broken. With your body anchored solid on shore, you can take this mind and make it strong. Your endurance will sustain my survival. Your endurance will create my new song. Help me breathe, sister. I need to breathe.
Thank you.
None of us are isolated. We all need a helping hand at times. Whether you're psychologically in a state of being, whatever state you are, sometimes whatever that person does, it helps you to survive. And I'm gonna, let's see about this one. This one is called Katrina. Silence spoke death. Children had pale faces, ripping signs of hunger. Mother faces held silent tears. A meal smell filled with feces filled the air. Silent spoke death. When thirst went, life dwindled. The bodily pain and hunger exit with life. Eyes wide open with closed canned puffs. Silent spoke death. Seeking dry bread and water to consume. Toddlers moving aimlessly. Shoes laced not. Family paced and waited to be rescued. Death's rattle came and went. Silent spoke death. Leaders walk without shame. Who will take the blame? America is not a third world country. Poor folks are dying with the greatest resources. Like I said, I write from observation and I write what I see. Everything I write is real from my perspective. That was during Katrina, the water got so high, the people in the hotel, they observed the outside. One mother, one woman, she looked out the window. She saw bodies floating about my window. Was it real or just a dream? Yesterday I was a zombie. How did I survive? Bodies floated about my window. Unable to see land, the stench of flesh surrounded me. Trees floated like sponges. A mother and her infant floated by, connected as one. Bodies floated by my window. Lifeless, dehydrated bodies laid in corners. The Superdome should have been the nest of safety. People's crying and dying of hunger. Face of death surrounded me. Bodies floated about my window. They packed us in without food and water. Days passed and I wondered, why were we there? To leave this wretched place, we stepped over bodies. Ooh.